So, threw your lot in with the Minutemen, I see. Pretty happy about yourself. Minutemen, pretty noble endeavor, am I right? Going around saving people. But let's be honest here. You're not here for any of that. What you're here for is the guns. You want in that armory. They got enough toys to level half the Commonwealth in there. Don't blame you. But, before you get to that, you must master their current weapon. A strange weapon, I might add. When you get nearly at the beginning of the game, too. But the weapon, of course, I'm talking about is the laser musket. Now, I'm not sure who thought of this. Maybe they had a broken laser rifle and decided to make use of the parts, which is clever. But this is a bit of a retrofitting something technological into something very old. It's like straight out of a steampunk movie or something. Steampunk fanfiction, what do you want to call it? But it's clearly a very strange piece, possibly the strangest weapon in the game. And not only strange, but a little on the annoying side to operate too. Now, how this weapon works is, you simply take your hand crank and literally you crank to get charged shots. You probably already know this. Now, for the damage, it says 67, but that's for every crank. So one crank is 67, next crank is 132, 34. Sorry, my math's bad. But anyway, but yes, but you get this nearly at the beginning of the game. So the correlator was excellent at the beginning of the game. How about this weapon? Well, we can't fire it when we pull it out, we must crank it. So one crank and two crank. A basic one only has two crank system. Now from the hip fire, that verved a lot to the left and that one went really high. So because VC is very consistent from the hip. This is a rifle after all. So we gotta aim down the sights. But yes, also, we all have a lot of smoke and scatter plasma, or laser bits, when we shoot, obstructing our view. Now, I decided to use this as it is against some raiders. And to be honest, this thing was barely usable. You got one shot, then you must reload. It's a musket after all. And if you miss, it just feels painful when you miss. Because the enemy continues firing at you. And for powerful enemies, this is average normal difficulty, by the way. I'm not going on hard difficulty or anything. So this is not really doing the job against this one waster. And then he put a stim pack in, and I could not even keep up. So I'm going to cut that clip there. Now, before I talk about any numbers, keep in mind I do have Rifleman fully maxed out, so you see double damage at its full value. So, with the laser musket, the capacitor, well, to be honest, you got cranks. You can go up to 6 crank. There's no point in taking any other. If you can get the max, get it. Because that means more shots. Now, for the extended long barrel, that's just how it came with when I bought it. Could have a normal long barrel. Now, if you have a short barrel, you won't have the option to have the muzzle area. So it's a rather funny thing to note. Long barrels have it, but not the short ones. But anyway, we'll take the bracketed long barrel, because why not? I don't really see a difference between that and extend long barrel, but in terms of performance, they're identical. So I might as well pick the last one. Now, next up we got the stock. Well, to be honest, short full stock. Don't take a short stock. There's no point. There's no difference. There's no difference in terms of performance other than recoil, which you might as well take the recoil. Now, for scopes, I'm taking a long scope because I am not using this close quarters. I am not fighting any ghouls with this. That's a bad idea. Fighting at medium range might be even a bad idea. But now for the muzzle, we got some very familiar items. Beam splitter, we turn into a shotgun if we want. Let's not do that. I do not want to use as a shotgun. You got the beam focuser, which is good. And then we got the gyro concentrating lens. Since it's not really automatic, go to the beam focuser. Alright, with this fully decked out, we're going to take it back down to the shooting range. And let's see. 6 cranks. Long crank cycle, but a nice red glow. Makes you stick like a sore thumb, I bet. Now, again, we still have all that damn smoke, too. But, with 6 cranks, it's a lot more powerful. On the scope, very accurate. Nice. So there we have it. We have a plain laser musket that was mediocre and really didn't get the job done. And we possibly given it another, just a same makeup, just more of it. Is it better? No. Because we still have the same problem. It's a crank weapon. This is my biggest irk about it. The rate of fire is the worst in the game because of this. Just fighting at this medium distance, I'm not the best shot. But even I had trouble just fighting off a few plain super mutants because I'm just trying to crank a weapon. And as they're firing at me and I'm aiming at everyone else, the dynamic of the battlefield changes. Even now, they're throwing their dogs at me. I gotta deal with them up close. And I gotta crank every shot. I nearly came in this battle full health, and now I'm in critical. We're nearly critical. Next battle, what I feared came to pass. A crank weapon versus an enemy that only wants to get close to me. And it will kill me if it does. I'm not talking about the dog, not the dog. I'm talking about that guy. Oh, I came too close and I said to rely on VATS. Bad idea, I missed. Oh boy. I thought it was the end. Melee attack, didn't do anything. Run away. Run away. Now, I'm going to crank up a few shots and try again. But the problem is, I'm not really aiming at this point because I don't have any time to aim. I'm sprinting away all my AP so I can't go in VATS. It's a bad scenario. Very bad. At this point, the Super Mutant's just fucking with me. He's just clearly teasing me because I can barely do anything if I continue using this weapon. If I whipped out any other weapon, he'd be dead. But this weapon, it's not a run and gun. It's not. And then I run into even more trouble. Like, this is just a one bad scenario after the next. Once I verify he's not coming for me again, I'll continue to at least kill the skirmisher and his gun turret. Now, at this point, it's just close quarter and I have no choice but to do point blank shots. The next scene, poor McCready got the mini nuke. So, I decided to fight something a little bit bigger to test its true firepower. The Matriarch. Now, this is a bad idea. I do not recommend doing this at all, because you already know this is going to end poorly. No matter how powerful this thing is, I'm going to have that first shot and it's going to close the distance. Sure enough, first shot, crank, crank, crank. Oh, it's already here now. Great. And second shot, half its health's gone now. Luckily, it went straight for McCready. This gives me a chance to actually do something. But McCready does not stand a chance against the damn thing. Now, with only one shot left, I gotta get that one shot off. Now, oh great, arm's already crippled. One last shot. Wait for it. Wait. And at the last possible moment, I killed it. If it wasn't for McCready, I would have died. Alright, some pros and cons. For pros, it has some pretty decent damage. The crank system helps you conserve microfusion ammo. And you get it pretty early in the game, like second quest in. Now for the con side, however, it has the worst DPS of any gun in the game. The weight is actually pretty heavy for a rifle. The damage is not going to really hold up against bigger opponents. And weapon is not intended for close quarter combat and not even mid-range combat. You want only long range. Okay, and that is the laser musket. I do not recommend this gun, not from the beginning or the end. It's not a very good weapon. But hey, you get in the beginning of the game, so at least at that point you don't have much choice. So in the end, it's not really worth joining the Minutemen for this weapon. Clearly not. Aim for whatever else is in their armory. And just every time you see one of these, just don't bother picking it up. Unless you plan to break it down or something for parts. It's not that good of a weapon. Not in the beginning, and certainly not at the end. It's because you can't change a crank-based weapon. Leave it to the steampunk ages and such. Or wherever it may come from. Leave it to them. But anyway, that is Showcase for today. Thanks for watching, and take care. See you next time.